Hey everyone, it's Eric back here at Beyond the Green Golf. So listen, after one of the videos that I had, which was starting to talk about the differences in shafts for irons, such as steel versus graphite, I got an enormous amount of questions and feedbacks and views. So obviously, this information must be good for somebody. So let's talk a little bit more about that, okay? So for the most part, like I mentioned before in the first video, and tying some things together, if you're an average person and you're just making, golf swings and such, and you say, for instance, have a 100-gram graphite shaft, 100-gram steel shaft, the only difference in the material is the steel is going to transfer vibration into your hands versus the carbon fiber is going to have you absorb that vibration into your hands, and it's going to change the sensations that you feel. So again, it's not a massive difference that's between them, but there's enough differences that we should start to talk about it, okay? So let's talk about two different things, right? One of which is this is an old Project X shaft. If you recognize the old label, this is probably from like 2001, 2002. And this is an Aerotech steel fiber shaft. You can tell just because it has those little filaments, it might be a little hard to pick up on camera, but I promise you, this is what's called a filament wound shaft. So at that point, now we can start to talk about construction of shafts and how it changes and such. So in the long and short of it, how a shaft is made makes a big difference, and then and how it feels and how it performs. So in the end, a shaft, it doesn't matter whether it's steel or graphite, the holy grail of all of it is to make it 100% 360 degrees symmetrical and perfectly round. But very rarely are shafts round, so it causes something some asymmetry. If you were to blow them up real big, you would either notice some ovaling, like an egg, a mild egg shape or something along those lines, and that alone makes sometimes some shafts feel a little out of balance. So if there's more imperfections in them, then at that point you're going to have a more difficult time with saying, hey, that shaft feels great. So what we're talking about with that is a lot of times what you're going to get with graphite shafts that are very commercially available is shafts that are made on volume and not necessarily quality per shaft. And what I mean by that is total mass, that there's not a big difference in if I made 100 regular flexes and they were all supposed to be plus or minus, just say maybe 5 grams between maybe the first one to the last one that they made in production, then that shaft would be great. From one to the next. However, the discrepancies start to happen when the companies are producing tons of graphite shafts that would go to, for larger consumption, right? If somebody has a plan of making a few thousand sets of irons. So now it's not really about the quality of each, it's about getting the whole model done in the time frame that suits the manufacturer. And again, it's not a negative thing for them. Why? Because they're selling equipment. It's a business and that's how it goes. But does that mean that each one of them could not be assembled better? Of course. That's where your club makers are going to come into light. You can basically, at that point, take any shaft, get it in a perfect principal plane of oscillation, which means that the shaft is going to vibrate up and down, right? If you've ever seen anybody use a frequency analyzer, the shaft should, for the most part, bounce up and down in a normal direction. If it's out of balance, it'll start to oval and start to vibrate in a circle. So in the end, that makes a big difference in how a shaft is perceived. A lot of the better manufacturers will go the extra step, recognize that type of an issue, and then do something about it, and then paint the shaft afterwards to make sure that it's in line with that principal plane. So then all of a sudden, wow, hey, here's this big miracle that these shafts are better. So does that mean that you couldn't get a similar performance off a shaft that's $10 or $12? I absolutely believe that you can. It's just a matter of perceived value. If you're gonna, put a shaft in that's $65 a piece, you may have a confidence level that's much greater because, hey, I spent more money on my shaft. That doesn't mean you're gonna get a better shaft. It still has more to do with how that person puts it together, the shaft manufacturer, when they put that graphite shaft together, that they take to care to make sure that you got that principal plane of oscillation in a predictable fashion just by utilizing the logos on the shaft. So again, this is big parts of it right now. When it comes to steel, most of the steel shafts that are out there started off as a flat piece of metal. They get turned into a circle. There's a seam that's welded to make the ends of the steel come together. And then at that point it's pulled, so it's heated and pulled, and as it's extruded and the walls start to get thinner and thinner, that seam becomes less obvious, but it's still there. So at that point with a steel shaft, if you can find that seam and you can put it in a plane where it's going to wind up again oscillating either at 12 and 6 or 3 and 9, then you're going to have a shaft that's going to feel consistent throughout an entire set, and it's going to perform a lot better. But again, if you use the same type of philosophies, whether you do that with a graphite shaft or a steel shaft, in essence, both of those shafts should feel as good as they possibly can. And then it's just a matter of whether or not that shaft fits your swing profile. All right. So that's a lot of information in a very short period of time. We're going to keep going with some other videos. I'm just going to give you little pieces of this. But again, so pay attention. The graphite and steel, as long as you pay attention to how it was made and how it's assembled in your golf club, is it going with you or against you? Is the quality of the club maker going to take that piece of information and make it good for you? You know, that makes a big difference. So anyway, hopefully that starts to go in a little bit deeper. We'll cut this down a little bit farther into some other things like weight and such, okay? So again, thanks so much for listening. This is Beyond the Green Golf, and I'm Eric. So, you know, reach out to me on all the social media outlets, and we'll give you some more information again real soon. Take care. Thanks for listening.